Hey everyone, it's Andy here with the Future of Gardening. It's a beautiful Sunday morning, autumn, and honestly couldn't ask for better temperatures. But in this video, I'm going to be covering some things like the raised bed electroculture experiment. I'm going to be covering GreenStalks grown in dirt, and I'm also going to be covering my two hydroponic GreenStalks that I just got renewed and planted up this morning, and discussing some different ideas and theories I have, along with a few other things I'm trying. So stay tuned, and here we go. All right, guys. So first thing I'm going to cover today is the electroculture experiment I've been working on for the past couple months. So I'm going to go ahead and approach it over here, and sorry if you hear a little bit of noise from the chickens. They like to make a lot of sounds. Anyways, so what I did is I coiled a bamboo stick with a, I think it was a 12 gauge copper wire, might be a little bit less, might be 8 gauge, but I coiled it up all the way to the top. This thing stands about 7 feet tall, and at the top I actually have a smoky quartz crystal coiled up tightly, and that tight coil causes a piezoelectric response. So all in all, this has been active and been getting pretty good readings for a while. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my meter on here. This is an EMF reader. This detects if there's a field around, and I already have a field here. I can go back and show you just where it ends. So we're looking at 4, backing up by the starfruit tree. Oh, 0. So we just lost, or just barely picking up the field right here. And this is standing about maybe about 10 feet away from the center. So what I've done is created a very gigantic field, the biggest one I've made yet. And this has been ongoing for a few months. It's been staying good, and I'm going to approach closer again, and I'm going to get right on top of it. Okay, this is towards the top here. Now, the point of this is to absorb. You've got an antenna pointing true north, so this actually takes and grounds electricity as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the bottom of this, go down, down. We're going to see it increase as we go further down to the soil. So we're sitting at 1.1 milligauss, which is, not bad for just a grounded copper rod in the ground. So, but what I'm really impressed by with this experiment is the size of the field. It's quite extensive. It covers everything in this bed. It also covers everything in about it's kind of an elliptical field from what I've seen, but it is covering just about everything in this area. So those tomatoes over there that are in the pots, and then definitely all of this, and on this side of me covering some of my fruit trees. So this is a pretty cool experiment so far there. I have had no pests other than leaf miners, which I seem to never be able to avoid leaf miners. So other than that, I haven't had any issues in this garden. Now, I've covered pretty much all of that, but let me know if you guys have any questions there. Next thing I'm going to cover is the GreenStalk towers. So these GreenStalk towers are soil. I've got most of these soil-based right now, as I'm learning more and more about soil relationships, and I'm able to actually grow things a lot better in the soil, depending on how well I feed them. So I'm able to feed them, usually once weekly or bi-weekly with a 20-20-20 fertilizer that's highly diluted in a 5-gallon bucket. So what I'll do is I'll take the 5-gallon bucket, I'll raise it up, and I will pour maybe like a third of it in here, a third of it in there, and a third of it in there, and then I'll just keep filling by third by third by third, and I usually do about 5 scoops of the 20-20-20 in that way. Then what I like to do is chase it with a little bit of water, and what that does is it helps dilute it from collecting in one spot too much or collecting on the roots and creating a salt issue. I have not had any salt buildup issues doing this technique, and I feel like it's been working out very well. I've got jalapenos. I do the same thing with these guys. They're doing very well. And over here I've got a black prince pepper. Got peppers all going crazy up there. I actually made some dehydrated pepper flakes, so I thought that was pretty cool. So I've got this tower loaded with tomatoes, mostly dwarf tomato project and micro dwarfs, and then I've also got this pink tower loaded with dwarfs and micro dwarf tomatoes. I've got these two towers. This is a pepper tower I've got. It's monstrous. I need to trellis it up better, but so I've got a few things going there. I've got some empty cells, so I'm probably going to load up the cells with more stuff. I've got loads of sisu spinach growing. The girls like to eat it. I like to eat it. So getting as much of that growing as I can. And this is a new, GreenStalk was having their sale, and so I was able to get this pink tower extremely cheap. I actually kind of like it because the pink's not going to absorb a lot of heat. It's going to be very, it's just going to be a better summer growing tower just because of how light it is. And these two I've got loaded with brassicas. So I've got purple lady bok choy, I've got purple cabbage, green cabbage, and it's a Brazilian broccoli. It's kind of like a subtropical broccoli. I forget the name off the top of my head, but it basically keeps producing crowns as opposed to the big ones like Waltham that creates a crown. You harvest it, you might get a few little side shoots, but you're basically done. So it'll create lots and lots of crowns. They're not as big as a Waltham, but over time you're going to get a lot more out of it, for production instead of the one-time harvest. So I have a lot of transplants over here, and that's why they're looking a little limper. I'm going to water this again, I think, after this video. But also I'm going to talk about another experiment I'm doing. So I've been looking at this system called Autopot. Some of you guys may be familiar with it. But essentially it's a system that plugs into water, uses no electricity, and it takes water in the bottom of a reservoir and wicks it using like a wicking action up into the soil and into your plant, so the plant takes what it needs as it gets it. And then the trick with this is you get your soil, your medium in there. I did soil. You don't have to use soil. You could go more hydroponic based, but it said you could use soil and you'll have, you can feed it a little less. And so I'm trying that just to see how cool that is. So far, it's pretty awesome. So now I'm just going to see how it works, but so far it's looking great. This is a dwarf almondine tomato, which is, again, part of the dwarf project. And this one is a prairie fire tomato, which they're always limp looking like that. That's just the way this one grows, very droopy, almost like a San Marzano. But everything seems to be fine and healthy with it. So otherwise, the prairie fires are known for being super sweet, so I figured it'd be a good experiment, and hopefully, one with some good rewards at the end. And if I like how these grow, which I do so far, I'll probably invest in a few more. All right, and without further ado, I want to talk more about the hydroponic GreenStalks. So some of you may have heard earlier that I did an interview with GreenStalk about this. And guess I'm going to be featured in their 2026 magazine for this conversion and showing what the full capabilities are with these units. It's quite impressive. It's probably the best diversified vertical system I've ever used, hence why I keep buying them. So if you can, wait for a good sale, and otherwise it's worth the money, 100% worth the money. So in this system, for those of you who are new, what I've done is I've taken a reservoir, just a 15-gallon reservoir down here. There's a pump inside, and that pump is connected to a tube. That tube is actually going up this plastic trellis, that PVC, going up there and splitting into two valves. One pipe is going down into the top of that one. One is going down on the top of that one. As you can see, they're putting water into the top. So it's a constant flow of water going down into the system. And we don't want it to be super heavy. You don't want to waterlog the thing. You want it to breathe, but at the same time, you want it to always have access to moisture. So I'm doing a much slower drip to make sure that we're not going to put too much strain or pressure on any of the plants. In this one, I planted a lot of arugula. I did 3 tiers of arugula. This is the leaf, by the way. This is the smaller pocket one, but you get, if you plant shallow root vegetables like lettuces and leafy greens, you get a lot of good production out of these because you get 6 tiers as opposed to 5, and you can get quite a bit going. So these are great if you like your greens. These are amazing if you like more of your deeper root things. You could even grow zucchinis in these. I did zucchini last year. I got it on one of my previous videos. Did very well. If I could do it over again, I would not put all of them on one tier. That will waterlog your system because the roots will literally grow and cake down into it. So you need to diversify that up again. Have a couple different plants on each tier. For tomatoes, it works all right. You can have, you know, all tomatoes on the tiers. I don't recommend doing indeterminates. Indeterminates will continue to put out roots and more roots and more roots, and then you'll eventually get a extremely waterlogged system. It's no good. So try to stick with the dwarf varieties. Try to stick with the, you know, micro dwarf varieties. Determinates are even okay. Just you know, keep it simple. Again, greens, wonderful. They do well in this kind of a system, but so water goes in the top, flows down. I'm just using the system's own design to continue to flow water down. It's already built to flow water down on a dirt tower, so I'm just doing the same thing. I'm not modifying the design or, you know, messing with the structure in any way. And the beautiful thing is they have this ultimate, they call it the ultimate basin, and it's a turntable basin, so you can twist and spin it. And but the cool thing is they actually have a drain at the bottom, and you can hook up a 3/4 quarter-inch tube and actually have it, and I have it draining back in. Hence why I have these things on blocks. You have to get the base up to the level or higher than the reservoir, so that gravity is always feeding and you're continually draining. And then what happens is it drains back in. You've got your pump, cycles it back up, goes back in, and lo and behold, you have a autonomous flowing system that's, you know, lower on the maintenance once it gets going and flowing. I did have 3 reservoirs interconnected last year. It takes up a lot of room, so this year I'm just doing the 2 towers, 1 15-gallon reservoir. I'm going to see how often I need to fill it at its peak. I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit often, but that's okay. I'll deal with it. And then, you know, in the meantime, I've made more room so I could walk through here. I might even add 2 more of the autopot systems. They're pretty cool, and it's built so you can keep stretching more and more out. Basically, you can extend the pipe and you can have more coming out. So it's a pretty cool thing. It's a little on the pricey side, but I might find a way to develop my own version of it. It doesn't seem like it would be too difficult. So anyways, it's a good system for what it is. And so anyways, guys, you know, I'm going to keep posting updates of the GreenStalk again this season. I want to be more on top of the game. This is my 2nd season going at it with new experience, new methodology, and I think that we can get this really, really honed into a level that's great for any grower. And, you know, one thing I learned with the autopot that I am now considering is the autopot is kind of like a hybrid. You have hydroponic kind of feed tapping in, flowing in with nutrient water, but you also have soil as your medium mixed with a lot of perlite. Now, there are clay pebbles at the bottom to produce that air layer, and then there's a pad that they give you that's made of like a copper material, and that helps prevent the roots from growing down and blocking your root zone. So yeah, I kind of want to try, it might be next season, I want to try doing one like that. I want to try doing soil with more perlite in it and have it be like a soil medium, but at the same time have water continuously flowing down in through it, and see how I can do and see what kind of limitations I run into. I don't believe things could get waterlogged as long as I have everything aerated properly. I just need to make sure that the flow is good and that there are no interruptions in power. And that is very important, by the way, power interruption. When you're outdoors and you're working with outdoor power, unless you're going solar, which I would recommend if you can. If you can't, what I did is I bought a waterproof housing over here. So these are pretty cheap on Amazon. If anybody wants any links to anything, you can always leave a comment and let me know. But they're just housing. I have the one cord going to the outlet in the top. I've got the one cord going to the pump in the bottom. It meets in the middle and it closes with a rubber seal. So then I have this plugged into my outdoor plug, which is under my elderberry. But yeah, as long as you keep the interruption to a minimum, you'll have a great season. If you get interruptions, you get bad storms, heavy rains, your system's going to get interrupted, and that's when things start to really go haywire. It's not good. So just make sure you stay on top of that. If you want to go even crazier, you can get an alarm that you can plug into this thing in between the two connections. You can get an alarm that'll actually notify your phone, like, hey, no power. So if it happens enough and you're getting really tired of it, you might want to look into an alarm or something that could help you. But anyways, guys, last subject I want to talk about is my chickens, which they quieted down, but I have a feeling as soon as I go over here they're going to make more noise, so bear with me, guys. But these guys have been such great little blessings. I really enjoy their company, and they're very sweet. They just it's definitely a lot different than I expected, and it's all for the better. But I want to talk about egg nutrition and feed and things you can do if you own chickens, things you can do to boost your nutrition to a maximum, so that you're getting not just an egg a day, but you're getting a true supplementation. Like, you can boost the omega-3s in chickens' feed tenfold and actually get your omega-3 to omega-6 ratio really crazy high. According to this feed regimen I have, it should be a 1-to-1, which is very hard to do. So I'm going to just go ahead and guess it's a 1-to-2. So it's omega-3 2, or omega-3 1 to an omega-6 2. And the reason why the omega-6 is still a little higher is just because, they eat worms, they eat some of the grains, and some of those grains have that omega-6, imbalance. So what you do is you make up for it. You add a lot of flax seeds. Now, the flax seeds, the ALA that's in flax seeds, our body only converts 1%, 2. So it's very minimal. But if you use the chickens to do it, they actually have a better conversion rate with their omega-3s from the ALA to the EPA and the DHA. So, if you utilize your chickens, and it's good for their hearts too. I have never had a problem with my chickens getting sick or anything. I've had them for almost a year. If you utilize them in that way, they will return in kind. And so I'll put things like seaweed in here, fish meal, a little bit of oatmeal, barley, red wheat berries. Try to get glyphosate free if you can. And then you've got your black soldier fly larva, spirulina, nutritional yeast, and you've got paprika and cayenne pepper. All of these things synergize together to give them a fully balanced diet. So you've got your nutritional yeast, which boosts their B vitamins through the roof. It makes the eggs more nutritionally dense, makes them higher in protein. You've got spirulina, which greatly improves their vitamin A. It also adds a little bit of omega-3. You've got the flax seed for omega-3. I do add hemp seed and chia seeds a little bit as well. That boosts the omega-3. You've got protein. You've got your split peas, which is the protein, and then you've got the different seeds I have in there are also some protein sources. The black soldier fly larvae are both calcium and protein, and so you just want to make sure you drive up that omega-3 ratio. And the chickens, they may not adjust at first too well, but they will over time start, switching and changing gears. And I guarantee you they're feeling better. I never see that. I've heard chickens are prone to heart attacks, and I kind of believe it might be due to a corn or a soy diet. You feed them nothing but corn and soy. I mean, you do the same thing to a human, and you know, without the right treatment, you could end up the same way. So I just wonder if it might have something to do with it. You know, and the chickens get a lot of sunlight. They're always out in the sun, so they're getting their vitamin D. That makes vitamin D in the eggs more prevalent, which is also another plus. But yeah, so between everything, the paprika, and you might see their yolks start darkening up too. If you add the paprika and stuff, it'll get really dark, but it's also a sign that the carotenoids, you know, the lutein and different vitamin A properties are a lot higher. Another thing I planted is some moringa. I'm trying to get the moringa going, because they don't just need, you know, feed like that. They need real forage. They need stuff that they can go and eat fresh, you know, and they should have as much access to it as possible, right? So, you know, I've got this passion fruit growing. They actually eat the passion fruit leaves. I got another papaya tree. They're eating a papaya right now. Those are great for vitamin A too, by the way. Great for the chickens. So I got another papaya tree planted so that they get a little bit more. They love katuk. They love, you know, any of the greens. I told you earlier, sisu spinach, and so on and so on. So there's my chicken talk. You know, let me know if you have any questions with that. Lastly, guys, this is my strawberry garden as it is now. This was an interesting idea I had, just kind of off the top of my head, to just stand it up, frame it, put the wood in really deep, get crushed rock up around the wood, and then stand it up and have these pipes going with a rope that can handle the weight. And so now what we have is we have these strawberries that will produce runners, and those runners can go down and get into the other holes below it. Now some of these I have ones below the other, so that's okay. I can take the runners and you know, multiply them somewhere else. I can just keep them separately. So my goal eventually is to start selling strawberry plugs to people. I notice there's a huge demand for it on Etsy. I see people running out all the time, so I'd like to try and help that if I can. And yeah, other than that, you know, I'll keep you guys posted on this. Let me know if you have any questions on this. I did put some stakes in. The stakes will help support it and stabilize it so it stops leaning one way or the other. And you never know, I might have to do the same thing again to the other side in time. It's something I did consider. I'm just kind of testing this out, seeing how far I can go, what I can do. But all right, guys, other than that, yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed this video. I'm sorry that it went so long, but I hope this gives you a good idea, or has inspired you in some way to grow more food. I think that's very important for us these days, is to become more self-sustainable. And if there's any questions I can help answer, please feel free to leave the comments. Guys, please like and subscribe. And again, I appreciate every one of you watching this, and I hope you all have a blessed day and happy gardening.